affecting the quarterback. His ability to step into the pocket and throw, are we maintaining our leverage on him? How many times are we hitting him? And those are the things that I'm really concerned about. The sacks are the gravy, but the meat and potatoes is getting that pressure, keeping the pocket dirty, and getting the hits on the quarterback. And I think if you look at the number of interceptions that we've had this year, I'd say you'd be hard-pressed to find one where that quarterback's not getting hit right as he's releasing the ball or right after he's releasing the ball.
Yeah, and it's probably something that you guys are charting. Are you seeing that, from
We are, yeah.
week to week?
Yeah, so the Sac State game, we had 8 quarterback hits. And this last week, we had no sacks, but we had 12 hits on Chucky. And I think those things add up over the course of the game. Some big bodies landing on you.
And then that, as opposed to what you guys did last year against Cal, was that, did you guys get to him as well?
Well, we got to him a lot. We spent some time watching that film, and that was a very productive game for us in the pass rush. But a lot of that has to go with the fact that we got up early on them. And, they're committed to being balanced. And I think the fact that we were able to jump on them early in terms of the score, that led to a little bit more of the passing game later and allowed us to get after them. And so, if you look at what they did against Texas, regardless of what the score was, they stayed committed to the run game, even in the high red zone, and did a really nice job of keeping the balance. And I think that helps their offensive line, and it certainly helps, Jeff not get hit as much back there.
Then just in terms of the sacks, is it just like because you have your 2 outside guys who are just still maybe trying to get used to being that pass rusher, Travis and Corey, they're just learning how to get home?
I think so. Well, I think those guys do a really good job, but it's a combination of things a lot of times, and there's times when we're not necessarily we're not bringing all those guys. I mean, we're in a lot of max drop, 3-man rush, trying to maximize our coverage on the back end, and we're getting the hits. I'll tell you one thing we're missing is we're missing an elite best pass rusher in the country. Danny was phenomenal inside, but I think we're getting good push out of Greg and Elijah. But we're definitely missing, a guy with the resume that Howe has. But I think Corey and Travis are, and I'd throw JoJo Mathis. Those guys are disruptive. They're good pass rushers, and their numbers will come. We just got to keep grinding. If they don't run the ball, we're going to be fine. So if we can continue to do what we're doing in the run game, we'll get after the quarterback. If we got to generate it through some pressures, that's fine, but we'll get after it.
Big if. Juniors and seniors across that offensive line, how good is Cal there?
I think they're much improved. That's what I would probably, if you were to say, word association, that would be the word that I'd come up with. And I do think a lot of that improvement has to do with their commitment to the run game, because those old linemen, instead of just backpedaling and pass dropping 70 times a game and letting those guys just hunt on them, now they can load up and they can fire off the ball and give instead of take a few times a game. And so I think they've done a nice job of mixing in their run game. And I think they're obviously matured, played a lot of football. Rigsby's a kid who's been there forever, it seems like, and he's done a nice job for them. Their center's a returning starter, left tackle, so they've got some guys that can play.
What do you say in their kick return game? It might concern you. And you've been real good with touchbacks this year.
Yeah, well, we haven't been great in kick coverage. That's been an area of concern for us, and obviously they have a couple of dynamic guys back there. The number 9, the kid that took 2 back against Washington State and then had another explosive one against UCLA, and then the Muhammad kid who's a documented 10-2, 300-meter guy. He was running away from those Texas guys. We know they have guys that can run. So we've got to tighten some things up there. I think Tristan's done an awesome job of placing the ball and putting some hang on it for us. And we just got to find the right mix of guys. We've got some young guys. When you have a young team, that means you got young special teams. And so we're going to find our mix, and we're going to hit the ground running. We have a big commitment to that this week. And so that'll be a challenge for us, but we're looking forward to it. And, they're well coached on special teams. They do a good job in the kicking game, and so this should be a good challenge for us.
Your guys have kicking skills. Do they have to go to acting class, too, if you're going to pull off some of those elements of surprise?
Yeah, neither one of those guys would probably be a very good actor. I'd be happy to play poker against either one of them, let me just say that. But they're you know what? I feel very strong that we have one of the deepest and most talented specialist group in the country. I really do. I think that both Tristan and Cam could be starters at any university in the country. I think Corey's improved a ton as a punter, and it's been really good. And our snappers with both Luke and Ryan, I think both those guys are guys that could play for just about anybody. So that's the way it needs to be, because competition is going to make everybody better.
You might have been asked this, but going into Utah State, were you thinking that fake was going to be something you wanted to use, or was that just a game specific?
No, I think it was pretty specific to that situation, because everybody's got a different style or philosophy on their extra point and field goal block teams, and most teams don't give you the soft edge that they gave you. They're coming hard. They're an aggressive block team, and they blocked a number of kicks. Last year, I think they had 4, and then they had one that was a huge play for them in the Southern Utah game. So they were aggressive. They come after it, but they don't necessarily always bring a guy to contain on that side. So that was something we knew going into the game, and it's a very small margin. The ball has to be where it was on the left hash. You have to have this situation in the game, and so you know, it's one of those deals where, you know, Pete and I are looking, well, you're right. You know, if we don't call it now, we may never get a call it, so let's go. And so that's one of the things I love about working with him. You know, I mean, you can't coach a game or play a game with two hands around your neck. You got to go play to win.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate the fact that he's willing to do that.
Cameron said he recalls that Cal's pretty good on the block too, and he needs to get the ball